The same thing that Jesus said, the same thing that Buddha said, the same thing that every great spiritual teacher has ever said. All of these things point to one glorious truth. You are not broken beings striving to be divine. You are divine beings remembering your wholeness. What a wonderful message. Everything you imagine is you. We've been talking about who are we, what are we, how do we change who we have been. Not that there's anything wrong with who we've been. Who we've been is perfect in every way. Sometimes not so much an expression, but who we are inside is perfect in every way. But I don't know about you, I want to constantly get better and be more and do more and be more glorious, as we heard in our daily word today. So last week we began our journey of healing the DNA of humanity with looking at our tribal DNA, releasing the stories that have been a part of our culture, part of who we are, part of our families, for generation after generation after generation. We explored our ancestral patterns, our generational wounds, and our collective healing. So today we build on that by turning inward to the DNA we have personally written throughout our own lives. Our experiences, our choices, our beliefs, this is our personal DNA. The energetic and emotional code that shapes how we see ourselves and how we create our lives. The good news is, you are not stuck in your old programming. Yes, that is the good news. Whoever said yay, yes, yay, hallelujah. The fact is, you are the author, you are the coder, you are the one who can consciously rewrite the script of your own life. You have the power to recode. If you were a computer programmer, you know what that means. But you have the power to recode every thought, every emotion, every belief that has ever written itself into the very fabric of your being. It's like lines of sacred code in a living computer of your soul. Your experiences are not just memories, they are energetic instructions. Think about that. Your experiences are not just memories, they are energetic instructions. They instruct and inform how you do, how you handle situations, how you live every aspect of your life right now. With every thought you think, you are programming your reality. Science is catching up with what the mystics have said all along. You are not a random result of biology or upbringing. You are a conscious creator of divine intelligence. You take that divine intelligence, filter it through your experiences and your beliefs, and you express as who you are. But who are you really? Who are you really if we strip that away? The fact is, you are a universe of light. Our daily word today was glory. You are glorious. In the original meaning of that word, which had to do with energy, with shining, you have trillions of cells, each one listening to your every thought, your every word, your every feeling. Last week, we learned that our cells have their own individual intelligence. Every cell is a living thing that has intelligence, that has a level of consciousness. And every cell in your body responds to your thoughts, your words, and your feelings. Now that's a little scary when you think about it, maybe, but there's also good news, that the DNA, your spiritual psychic DNA, and your physical DNA, neither one is fixed. It's responsive. It's waiting for direction. And guess who gives it the direction? Who can guess? You do. You give it the direction. When you think thoughts of love, your cells open up to life. When you affirm peace, Your nervous system calms down. When you forgive, your actual chemistry changes. And when you bless instead of curse, you literally rewrite your code. Do you realize how powerful you are? How much ability you have to change your life every moment of every day, simply by changing your thoughts, by reprogramming your DNA. Charles Fillmore said, thoughts are things. We say that all the time, but he went on. He also included with that, your thoughts occupy space in the mind and mold your body and your affairs. Your thoughts occupy space in your mind and mold your body and your affairs. They don't just mold, they inform. They are the software through which divine intelligence expresses. You and I are not prisoners of our past. We are divine programmers of possibility. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever thought about that? You are a divine programmer of possibility. No matter where you are in your life at this now moment, you are a divine programmer of possibility. I can get it out there. Let's say it together. I am a divine programmer of possibility. We have been given the same creative authority that said, let there be light, and still speaks through us every time we choose a new thought aligned with truth. Think about that story in Genesis about creation. Now, we in Unity do not believe it happens exactly the way that says in there. It's an allegory. Almost every Bible scholar of every denomination will agree with that. It's an allegory. But when there was that voice saying, let there be light, what was happening? There had to be an intelligence behind it, and it was saying, let there be light, let there be illumination. In the story, if you're familiar with it, you'll notice that God doesn't create the sun and the moon until quite a bit later. But he creates light first. What is that light? That's intelligence that is programming the literal DNA of creation. So we have that same ability. Let there be intelligence in my creation. It speaks through us every time we choose a thought that's aligned with truth. So today I am inviting you, claim your power. Claim your power to look at your life not as a script you're trapped in, but as an open code that you can rewrite, that you can refine, and that you can reimagine through the love of God moving as you. Love is the creative energy. It is the vibration of the universe itself, and it moves through you as you. And you have the choice to align with it. You are not the story you have lived. You are the author rewriting the story in real time. As you sit here today, you are rewriting the story. When you go have barbecue after the service, you are rewriting the story. When you go out in the world after that, you are rewriting your story. You are the master coder. You are not the effect of past programming. You are the living consciousness of renewal. Can you begin to feel how powerful you are? How glorious you are? That wasn't a very enthusiastic yes. Okay, we'll keep talking about it here. You are the living consciousness of renewal. And that is the power to recode. The power to reclaim your inner authority, to realign your energy with divine truth. Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is a pioneer of epigenetics, said this: your beliefs are the primary control of your DNA. Your beliefs are the primary control of your DNA. When you live in fear, what do your cells do? They prepare for defense. You know, we have a culture right now really heavily engaged in fear. Look around you. Look around at our nation and the world. We can choose to align with that, and our cells will respond. They'll prepare for defense. Or we can choose to align with something different. We can choose to live in love. We know that when we live in love, cells become open to growth. Neuroplasticity teaches that the mind sculpts the brain. So every time you affirm truth, every time you act from love, every time you shift your perception, you carve new neural pathways, new possibilities. Quantum physics adds that the observer effect shows matter responds to consciousness. You matter, you are matter, and you matter. And you respond to consciousness. The very DNA of you responds to consciousness. Every cell responds to your consciousness. So your attention then is a creative power. What do you give your attention to? There are many who give their attention to everything that could go wrong. Well, guess what? You're giving power to everything that could go wrong. There are those then who say, I'm giving my attention to what is possible, to what is right. Remember Paul writing something along the lines, think of what is good and true and positive and loving and uplifting, and he went on and on and on. He said, think of those things. And your body responds, your consciousness responds, your immune systems respond, and the world around you responds. Have you ever been in a party or a room somewhere and somebody walks in and the energy just goes, bleh? Or somebody walks in and the energy lifts up. That's why we come together, to lift our energy up from the week and to maybe learn a few things. What's happening is we're tuning into that energy. We're tuning into that consciousness, and the cells of our bodies react. Your neural pathways react. Every part of you reacts. So if our focus has been on fear and lack, it's time to move our attention. Because you are the observer, and the observer shapes the outcome. Spiritual DNA, which is what we're talking about, is your personal DNA is spiritual DNA on both the physical level and the energetic or spiritual level. Your spiritual DNA is divine. Charles Fillmore wrote this: you are a co-creator with God, and the thoughts God holds are the tools with which you build. What's he saying there? He's saying that when we tune in to divine mind, to those higher ideas, we build. Or we can tune into the lower energy and we can tear down. But the fact is, every thought we think imprints a vibration on the invisible substance of spirit. Every thought we think imprints a vibration on everything around us and everyone around us. So when we talk about spiritual DNA, which is our personal DNA, we're talking about the pattern of divine potential. And when we align our thinking with truth, we activate it. Charles Fillmore went on and talks on truth and wrote, every person builds a world of their own by the activity of their thought. They can make their world what they will. You can make your world what you will. Want to be miserable? There's plenty of others out there who will join you. Want to be happy? There's plenty of us here who will join you. Want to change the world? Tune in to possibility thinking. All of this means that the code we live by is not fixed. It is written by consciousness, your consciousness. Myrtle Fillmore affirmed her healing by writing a new code for herself. Her code that she had grown up with, that was part of her DNA, was all the women in the Page family die at 42. That was her maiden name, by the way, if you didn't know that. Die at 42. And she was dying at 42. And then she rewrote her programming. And she programmed, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. She literally changed her DNA. And by the way, science now shows that it is possible to change your physical DNA. Lowell Fillmore, her son, wrote this: "When we keep our thoughts positive and God-centered, our lives will unfold in right order, for divine law always brings forth good." Eric Butterworth said this: "You do not live your life making things happen. You live your life letting things happen, letting the infinite flow through you." Martha Smock, Unity minister, wrote this: "Release the past. You can begin again, for the power of God within you makes all things new." And James Dilla Freeman wrote, "You are not what has happened to you. You are what you have chosen to become." I like that one. It's powerful. You are not what has happened to you. You are what you have chosen to become. And Catherine Ponder wrote, "Whatever you constantly affirm becomes fixed in your subconscious mind and must express in your life." Now, I just named, I think, 8 different Unity teachers and authors, and all of them said the same thing. The same thing that Jesus said, the same thing that Buddha said, the same thing that every great spiritual teacher has ever said. All of these things point to one glorious truth. You are not broken beings striving to be divine. You are divine beings remembering your wholeness. That's our third principle. Our third principle says we create our experiences by the activity of our thoughts. Are our thoughts in that consciousness of divine being or something less? It's not just theology. This is metaphysical physics. And your next thought can begin rewriting your life right now. So let's do this. Let's affirm together. I'll say it first and then you can say it. I'm having trouble talking today. I now rewrite the code of my life in love, wisdom, and wholeness. I now rewrite the code in love, wisdom, and wholeness. Wow, you guys are good. Now let's say it like we really feel it. Feel it from your heart. I now rewrite the code of my life in love, wisdom, and wholeness. And you can do that anytime you choose. It's not wishful thinking. This is creation in motion. Every spiritual path teaches the same thing. Christianity, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is renewing the mind. In Buddhism, what we think, we become. In Hinduism, as your faith is, so are you. Indigenous wisdom, the story you tell becomes the path you walk. Don't like the path you're on? Change the story. Every tradition points to the same truth. Transformation begins within. We are not what has happened to us. We are what we choose to believe about what has happened to us. Now, we can't change facts, but we can change our understanding, interpretation, and belief about those facts. We call that the programmer within. Give you an example of someone who did this. Many of you have heard of Louise Hay, one of the most influential voices in New Thought in our time. But before she became the best-selling author of You Can Heal Your Life, she lived a story of deep pain and limitation. She grew up in poverty, suffered years of abuse, and was convinced she was not worthy of love. By the time she was an adult, that old programming had so hardened into her consciousness that it was also hardening her body, and she was diagnosed with cancer. Doctor told her it was aggressive. But instead of giving up, she made a bold decision to rewrite that inner code that created the conditions for that illness. And she began affirming a new truth, like Myrtle did. Every day she would look in the mirror and she would say, I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. It sounds simple, but it's also radical. She began releasing resentment. Think about that word, resentment. Resentment. All you're doing is resending the messages to your body that you received a long time ago. Stop it. Release it. She began forgiving those who had harmed her and blessing her body with words of healing. She used affirmations, meditation, and forgiveness as her tools of reprogramming. And within months, her cancer was gone, medically gone. But more importantly, her life had changed. She went on to become one of the most successful and influential spiritual authors of the 20th century, teaching millions that if you want to change your life, you must change your thinking. It's not a new teaching. It's what every single teacher the world has ever had has said. Change your thinking, you change your life. Her story is the embodiment of what we're talking about today. She didn't just heal her body, she rewrote her personal DNA. The code of self-hatred into self-love. The vibration of fear into faith. And she built an entirely new life on that foundation. And in so doing, through her writing, her speaking, her inspiration, changed the lives of millions and millions of people. She proved that spiritual principle works. What you hold in mind produces after its kind. She became a living demonstration of what happens when you rewrite your inner code. The entire universe responds. So how do you do that? I love it when people go, well, that's all well and good, but how do you do it? Well, here's how you do it. Number one, identify the old line of code. Notice repeating patterns in your life. Fear, guilt, scarcity. They're not who you are. Those are just old scripts running in the background of your consciousness that inform how you see life and how you interact with life and how you live. Identify them. That's the first step. Second step, interrupt and delete. When you catch them, pause and say, cancel, delete. I release that story. Now, for a long time in Unity, we would go around saying, cancel, cancel, anytime somebody said something negative. But that's not really effective. Cancel, delete is more effective. Because cancel, it's still there. You just canceled that particular action. You got to delete it from the consciousness. And you got to tell your consciousness, that no longer has any meaning for me. Delete it. Release that story. Forgiveness is called the great code cleaner for anybody who's a programmer in here. And step three, install a new truth. That's really important. Install a new truth. You can use affirmations. I am whole. I am abundant. I am guided by infinite wisdom. I am worthy. That's one I think our culture needs more than anything else. This is what it was talking about in the scriptures where it says, beware when you cast out one devil, 7 more don't come in. You do the cancel, you do the delete, but you don't want other negativity coming in, so you have to replace it with something positive. Every repetition lays a new neural and spiritual pathway in your being. So we do these. We call them affirmations. So what does this all mean? It means you are not a prisoner of your past. You are a divine being with the power to renew, to reimagine, to regenerate, and to recode your life in the image of love. So this week, I'm going to challenge you and invite you to notice one old belief and replace it with truth. One belief. You got them. I got them. We all got them. Notice it and replace it with one truth. When you do that, you are literally healing your personal DNA, rewriting your inner code. Now, next Sunday, we'll be looking at healing the national DNA, awakening the collective heart. But we can't do that until we get our hearts right. It's kind of like there's an old story about, I think it was Gandhi, who was one day in India, one of his followers brought her little child to him and said, would you please talk to my child about all the sugar he eats? It's not healthy for him. And he said to her, bring him back in 2 weeks. And so she brings him back, and he sits him down and talks to him. And she goes afterwards, why didn't you talk to him 2 weeks ago? And he says, well, I had to stop eating sugar first. So that is what we are doing. We have to get ourselves right before we can begin to change the world around us. You have to build the foundation. So until we get to that next week's, remember this. You are a divine intelligence in motion, and your story is still being written. Make it a masterpiece. That is what you are here for. And so now we are going to take a time to go into meditation, to rewrite our personal DNA. So I invite you to get comfortable. Take a breath. Become aware of your inhale and your exhale. Take a deep breath and let it go. Let your shoulders soften, your hands rest, and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Feel yourself supported by the chair, the earth underneath you, and by the presence of spirit that fills this room. There is nothing you need to fix or figure out. You only need to remember who you are. With every breath, imagine your body relaxing, cell by cell. The muscles soften, the heart opens, and your awareness begins to move inward into that quiet space at the center of your being. Now see before you a gentle golden light, soft, radiant, alive. This is the light of divine intelligence, the living code of wholeness that has always been within you and always will be within you. Step into that light. Feel it wrap around you like a warm, luminous cloak. And as you stand in this radiance, notice the strands of light around you, your personal DNA. Each one holds the pattern written through your life. Thoughts you have believed, emotions you have carried, stories you've told yourself. There is no judgment here, only awareness. You are the sacred author, and these strands are your canvas. Now imagine a stream of pure white gold energy flowing from your heart and your mind into these strands. With each breath, old patterns resolve. See that. Every breath, old patterns dissolve. Fear melts. Shame releases. Guilt lifts away like smoke. And gently you whisper to those old patterns, thank you. Thank you for your service. For at one time, you had value. I release you now with love. And as the old patterns fade, you see that new ones begin to emerge, shimmering into being. Vibrant lines of truth, love, and wisdom, weaving through your energy field, through your mind, through your heart, and through your body. Your new story writes itself in light. I am whole. I am free. I am the living expression of divine life and love. Pause now and breathe into that in the silence. Feel that vibration energizing every cell of your being. Imagine your body, cell by cell, vibrating at a higher frequency, realigning, healing, growing and changing. Feel it taking form in every cell. Your mind is renewing. Your DNA singing a new song of harmony and peace. Now expand your awareness outward. See your light radiating beyond your body, touching others in this room, linking with their light until a great lattice of love connects everyone here. Until that light becomes one great glorious light. Together, we are rewriting not just our personal code, but the code of humanity. One of compassion, one of unity, and one of divine remembrance. In this oneness, we say, I am remembering who I am. And now take one big final breath and silently affirm, I am rewritten in love. I am rewritten in love. I live as light. I live as light. I walk in wholeness. I walk in wholeness. And now, as you let that settle in, slowly bring your awareness back to this moment. Your breath, your body, your sacred community. When you are ready, open your eyes and bring your light with you. And remember, you are created to shine.